Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well. So we see 1E forms as the earliest eastern Pacific tropical depression on record, yet more records breaking left and right. Everywhere we look, we're like setting modern day records. So this system formed far off the coast of Baja California in the eastern Pacific Ocean on Saturday, the 25th. As the earliest East Pacific Ocean tropical depression on record. So the season officially runs from May 15th to November 30th. And so ahead of schedule. But, everything is changing, everything is shifting, as we have been talking about. And we see farewell Tropical Depression 1E. We hardly knew you because it's already gone and dissipating. But still, it set a precedent there. Now we have a large asteroid, 1998 OR2, that's going to fly by the Earth on the 29th. And thankfully, it's going to be at 16.36 lunar distances, so absolutely nothing to worry about. And so this one belongs to the Armor group of asteroids, and it has an estimated diameter between 1.8 and 4.1 kilometers, so 1.1 miles to 2.5 miles. So, let's hope this one never does come in and hit us, because this is one that could do a lot of damage, to be sure. And so, we'll see, it's going to pass within 3.9 million miles of Earth at a speed of 8.70 kilometers a second. So, that's nothing that we should be worried about, really. So, because we see so many that come through within a lunar distance. But with this one, it's the size, because this is one that would be devastating if it did hit. And we have a 6.3 quake hitting off the coast. This is around Papua, New Guinea. And this one was at a depth of 10.5 miles, 17 kilometers. Epicenter located 82.3 miles west of Panguna and 88.9 miles west-southwest of Arawa. So thankfully, no major damage and nobody in that particular area where it struck, and no tsunami. So that's all good. Now, the Ecuadorian Space Agency ruled out a meteorite impact, and you're looking at something that looks really unusual. And this was in Ecuador, and so people thought it was a meteorite that struck. And this struck the Guayas parish in El Empalme on Wednesday the 22nd, and it did cause panic among the residents, power outages as well. But what they're saying, this thing that we're looking at, and there's video here where you could actually see it and see people, touching it and all. They're saying this is not actually a meteor. So this is what the officials are saying. They did find a 23-inch wide, 12-inch deep crater. So that sounds like an impact, right? And you have this kind of unusual looking object. The radiation measured normal. So it wasn't radioactive. I see the area sectioned off there. But what they're saying that we're looking at there is something called a fulgurite. And it's a natural tube, clump, or mass of sintered, vitrified, and or fused soil, sand, rock, organic debris, and other sediments that sometimes form when lightning discharges into the ground. So when lightning strikes grounding substrate upwards of 100 million volts are rapidly discharged into the ground, this charge propagates into and rapidly vaporizes and melts silica-rich quartzose, sand, mixed soil, clay, or other sediments, and it results in a formation of hollow branching assemblages of glassy tubes, crusts, and vesicular masses. So they're saying, well, I guess this was a very strong lightning strike and not a meteor strike. Well, curious, very, very curious, and that is most definitely a curious looking thing. And we see we've had a series of violent hailstorms that have obviously done a lot more damage to homes and also crops. And, the food situation is something that's mainstream now, obviously. And, this is just a look at some of the crazy hail that we've had, like over here in Louisiana. And there's video here so you could see. And so this was from a storm that hit on the 24th. Baseball-sized hail, damaged homes and vehicles as well. Here you see hailstones the size of tennis balls and softballs. Definitely could hurt if they get conked in the head with that, that's for sure. Crazy hail damage from last night's storms in North Bossier. You can see the size of that. And this is what we have when we have these extremes, and then you have two extreme, and a conjunction of two extreme fronts, and you get this type of hail and incredible damage. And you see the hailstorm that left 4,200 people homeless in India. Over 5,500 houses were damaged or destroyed. That was on the 22nd. And then central Saudi Arabia desert covered by hail. And we've seen the deserts flooding at times, and lots of crops ruined in India as well. Severe hailstorms and 180,000 lightning strikes, Queensland, Australia. This is all in the past week we've seen this. And severe hailstorm in China as well. Intense. And so we got some blue glowing dolphins. Actually, it's more that bioluminescence we were talking about. This is off Newport Beach again. But it does give the illusion that the dolphins are glowing blue. It's actually a plankton, a bioluminescence microorganism. And there's really weird sounds. And I was playing these, and boy, if I was closing my eyes, I would think that we're watching the beginning of a sci-fi alien invasion movie. That's what it sounds like to me. Just for copyright issues, so we don't get any copyright strikes, I'll let you guys play it and give you guys the links, but that's what that sounded like to me. And I do enjoy those kind of movies. Cindy, I think, does too.
I do. Yep.
So NASA reveals stunning cosmic reef blasting to life in nearby galaxies. So you see two bright nebulas, and I don't know, here this almost looks like an eye again to me looking. But we've talked about, the patterns in nature, the fractal nature of the universe itself as well. And so when we look out into the sky, are we just looking out into the mind of God, perhaps? Very, very interesting structures that we see the farther out we go as well. And tonight we will have a bright evening star, Venus, the evening star. So as Cindy and I always laugh, we always say, hey, there's Lucifer up in the sky, and point to Venus.
Yeah, it's cute. What do people think? It's like, this is not common knowledge.
No, but it should be. People should understand how things came about and look deeper. Always look deeper. And so it's going to be swinging by the crescent moon, a very, very beautiful sight. And so at 11:23 a.m. EDT, or 15:23 GMT, you could spot them above the southwestern horizon after sunset. The moon will be about 6 degrees south of Venus in the constellation of Taurus. Taurus, the bull. And we've done a lot of mythology, and we were seeing Mithras slaying the bull, as the age of Aries slaying the age of Taurus, and then you have the Piscean age coming in after that, and now we're heading towards Aquarius. We're entering Aquarius. So that's the way the comet crumbles, guys. A Hubble image shows the remains of Atlas. As you see, there's at least 4 pieces now that have broken up. So we had high hopes for that one being spectacular. And this one right here says Utah skies, comets, 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 because, We have Atlas, right, which is still there and still incoming, albeit in pieces. And then we also have Borisov, which is leaving us right now. And then we have Comet Swan, which is coming in. And that was just discovered on April 11th, and that's going to pass near the Earth on May 27th at a distance of 40 million miles. So, like 2/3 of the way to the sun, basically, as far as distance. So, it's like we got a lot of comets going on, and here it's mentioning the unusual one, Borisov, which is actually, they say, not from our solar system at all. And so, 3 comets to talk about at the same time. That doesn't always happen. It's, again, something a little unusual. So how long does canned food last? Well, the first thing I'd say, too, is for those of you that have stocked up now, rotate it. Check your dates. Just because the last time you went out and bought something doesn't mean that date is necessarily farther out, because I've discovered that as well. Buying in different places, and then you get things home and you're like, wow, this expires 6 months sooner than the last batch I bought. How did that happen? Well, somebody didn't rotate along the way, or, if you're buying from multiple stores, it could be that one turns stuff really, really fast. Like if you go into a Walmart, it's probably turning super quick. And then if you go into the little local grocery store down the street that's privately owned, it might not turn quick at all, so watch your dates first and foremost. So the best by dates, look at the bottom of any can, you can see best by date. What's important to know, it's a quality statement, so not about safety. The USDA, I don't trust any of these official, groups, period. USDA, the FDA, the CDC, the WHO. I don't trust any of them, not a lick. But anyway, the USDA does not require a safe date because canned goods are so well sealed. The best buy is about optimal freshness. So it's not like you really have to toss it out. You could open it up, do a sniff test.
Yeah, definitely do a sniff test.
And so acidic foods like tomatoes may go bad faster as opposed to more pH balanced foods like lima beans as well. And temperature is very important. And so they recommend a storage temperature of 75 or below. So above that can, cause a can to expand and bulge. And, that's something that we're very concerned with in the desert because, we went from being kind of cool to, having 103 in the forecast now. So things could definitely deteriorate fast in desert heat. How about dented cans? If the can has a slight dent, it should be okay. Deeply dented cans could compromise the seal and allow bacteria to enter, so best discarded. And always do a few checks before, after opening any can. So do the old smell test. Botulism, how about that? It's a dangerous form of food bacteria and it can kill you. Fortunately, canned foods are processed under strict supervision from the USDA, and both oxygen and bacteria cannot enter the package. So the biggest problem is with home canned foods, which we will be doing as well. I've done some of that before. If in doubt, throw it out. Off-grid can opening. So make sure you have a hand-operated, can opener. What happens if the power goes out and you can't get your food open, or you just, resort to rocks and screwdrivers and the sort. And think variety as well. And as we were saying, rotate your foods, most definitely. And if you have canned foods in the back of the pantry, don't automatically throw them out. Eat them as soon as you can. Do a check for smell and appearance. And there again, too, I don't think it's necessarily wise to store stuff that you don't want to eat on a regular basis. Some people will, buy a ton of these things that they don't, really want to eat, but it's just cheap and stores well, and then they just throw it there. But, will you end up wasting your money in the long run? Best to, use things that you use and your family likes. So, my friends, as always, thank you so much for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. That keeps us going in this world. And we appreciate you and everybody in this great family. As always, guys, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.